These are the craziest moments where killers got attacked in court. This is Michael Madison. He is now convicted serial killer from East Cleveland, Ohio, known to have committed at least 3 murders, all of whom were women. During his sentencing hearing, Van Terry took the stand to deliver a victim impact statement to the man who tortured and murdered his 18-year-old daughter.
Right now, I guess we're supposed to, in our hearts, forgive this clown who's touched our families, taken my child.
In this split second, Terry is staring right at Madison, and that's when, reportedly, Madison smiled back. Terry was released without charges, and in 2016, Madison was sentenced to death, and he is currently being held on death row. But this wasn't the only time families snapped in court. Like in the case of Diamond Alvarez, Diamond's mother, who's in court for the trial of 19-year-old Frank DeLeon Jr., who fatally shot their 16-year-old daughter 22 times. On January 11, 2023, Diamond was walking her dog when Frank fatally shot her. Police investigations revealed that the two had been in a relationship and were on the verge of a breakup. Frank was promptly arrested. If you thought Frank would show remorse for his crimes, be prepared for his jaw-dropping conduct during the proceedings. In court, Diamond's mother tells the man who had wickedly ended her daughter's life how she felt.
What I'm going through is not a life. I just want peace. That's what I want.
As she was giving her statement, Frank smirked at her. Enraged, Diamond's mother went to confront him. But before she could make it to the smirking murderer, the situation escalated. Diamond's uncle jumped in from the gallery and attacked Frank. Frank's mother rushed to his defense by attacking Diamond's mother, prompting Diamond's aunt to go after her. Eventually, the police were able to separate the two families. Following the brawl, Diamond's mother told the media,
It was wrong of me. That was wrong of us because we're not monsters. But it's so big because I want my daughter back. And what he did was horrible. Seeing my daughter there and looking at him that he did that and he's laughing and it was very wrong, and I'm so sorry for that.
In the end, Frank accepted a plea deal and was sentenced to 45 years in prison.
My diamond got adjusted. And that's all I was fighting. Justice. And as a mother, I needed justice. Quick, soon. That a year and 9 months really was a long time just waiting at home with my arms crossed. She has her justice. I wasn't fighting for me. I was fighting for my daughter. I have to watch videos and pictures to remember. I just want peace.
However, while this reaction could certainly be dismissed as an effect of uncontrollable anger, the same can't be said for the case of 23-year-old Quinn Bose, who facing charges for murder. Quinn is in court for the murder of his 11-month-old son. Quinn was found guilty and sentenced to 25 years in prison. However, as he was being led away, the unexpected happened. Jeremiah Matthew Harley, the child's uncle, punched him before he was wrestled down by the police. Jeremiah was eventually sentenced to 179 days in jail for his actions. However, while it was clear that Jeremiah wasn't happy with what Quinn did, his reaction to the sentence was similar to the case of Vashon Flowers, who was facing charges for murder. A disagreement about smoking led Vashon to fatally shoot his wife, Jamie Thomas Flowers.
This is a sociopath that has to be taken off the streets. We fully intend to get justice for Jamie.
Now in court, the daughter of the victim tells the court what happened.
He was irritable and said that he was a grown man. If he wanted to buy cigarettes, he would buy cigarettes. And he got down on the ground and started choking my mother. Actually, I heard, "You don't have to do this, Vashon. Please don't do this. You don't have to do this." And then I heard gunshots.
Do you recall how many you heard?
4. I got up and I left out of the room. She was sitting straight up against the wall.
Did you observe some blood?
Yes, on her shirt. Gunshots, bullet holes in her shirt and blood.
But during the sentencing, London Thomas, the son of the victim, couldn't hold himself. Vashon was eventually sentenced to life imprisonment. This is Lindy Jones, who's facing charges for murder in South Carolina. In August 2019, Lindy murdered 18-year-old Willie Antoine Fields. Following investigations, Lindy Jones and his younger brother, Jalen Jones, were arrested. Now in court, the mother of the victim, Angela Fields, has some words for Lindy.
I just want to let you know what they took from me. They took away my only child. It was so hard.
Her husband, Willie Clay Fields, was consoling, but suddenly he couldn't bear the pain anymore.
It was so hard.
Sir, back off, back off, sir, back off, back off, back off, sir.
The officers eventually managed to separate him from Lindy. Eventually, Lindy was sentenced to 35 years in prison, and his brother Jalen received a 6-year sentence in juvenile prison. That was a prime example of a victim acting crazy in court. However, could Dale Williams' case be considered even a little crazier? This is Dale Williams. He is now being sentenced after confessing to running his ex-girlfriend off the road, then fatally shooting her. She was a mother, and her 2 sons are in the courtroom. You see the 30-year-old Anthony Dees sliding over the table and 23-year-old Jerome Stewart going around. And in this frame, Anthony has Williams by his leg.
Killed my mother, man. That was my mama. She took care of me, bro.
After Dale Williams' first sentencing was postponed, he was later sentenced to 23 years to life. And for the two sons, the judge sentenced them to serve 30 days in jail for assault, contempt of court, and obstructing an official business. When emotions run high in court, the actions of some people leave us questioning sanity itself. This is 15-year-old James Douglas Gonzalez, who's in court for killing Edward Hall. In court, the jury found James guilty of negligent homicide and not murder. Raged, Kevin Hall, the younger brother of the victim, acted. Eventually, the police were able to restore order. James escaped the attack without injuries. Kevin was sentenced to 5 days in jail. Just when you thought you've seen it all, another convict surpasses the wild courtroom display you just saw. This is Clifford Thomas. He is the boyfriend of the mother's 3-year-old child who died from multiple blunt force injuries. Her death was later ruled a homicide, and the mother and boyfriend are in court together. During the sentencing, the child's biological father, Dwayne Smith, was getting ready to give a victim impact statement to the man responsible for his daughter's death. Thomas was sentenced to 57 months to 15 years in prison for involuntary manslaughter and 1 to 2 years for resisting and obstructing a police officer. Gordon was sentenced to 7 to 15 years for involuntary manslaughter and 14 to 25 years for first-degree child abuse. And for Dwayne Smith, the judge declined to hold him in contempt of court. But this wasn't the only time parents snapped because of how the killer was acting in court. Like during the sentencing of 18-year-old Peyton Gendron, who's facing multiple charges for murder.
Oh my God, he shot so many people in there.
On May 14, 2022, Peyton, a white supremacist, opened fire in a black-dominated Tops-Friendly market store in New York. Sadly, 10 black individuals lost their lives and 3 others were hurt before he was finally arrested. Now in court, family members of the victims let him know how they feel about him.
While I was writing this, tears fell from my eyes. Thinking about what a beautiful person he took.
My daughter, Robbie Drury, was a young woman. She was not married. She had no children. She never will. Robbie was our youngest daughter. When people ask, how many children do you have? I don't know what to say.
You destroy our lives forever. It's not a day that goes by that I won't remember May 14th and being 2 minutes sooner. I could have been in that store. And all I think about is, could I have saved my aunt? Could I have helped her get away from the bullets? Or could my mom be suffering more and lose her daughter, her granddaughter, and her sister?
One of the most touching statements was from Barbara Massey.
My name is Barbara Massey. I'm Catherine Massey's sister. You killed my sister. Cat was an aunt. She was a great aunt. She was a cousin. She was a friend. Cat said she was a committee of one. There's nothing Cat went to do. I want personally to choke you and be my faithful on your neck. Because it was unnecessary. You leave 200 miles to come to Buffalo. You don't even know any place. I want to choke you. You better say, Cop, thank y'all for protecting me. Because I will hurt you so bad. You have made me sick. You got my family crying. I miss my sister every day. You don't like black people. Man, you don't know a damn thing about black people. We're human. We like our kids to go to school. We love our kids.
However, while she was speaking, a supposed family member wanted to let Peyton know how he felt. Luckily, the police were able to calm the situation now. Now it's Peyton's turn to speak.
I'm very sorry for all the pain I forced the victims and their families to suffer through. I'm very sorry for stealing the lives of your loved ones. I cannot express how much I regret all the decisions I made leading up to my actions on May 14th. I did a terrible thing that day. I shot and killed people because they were black. Looking back now, I can't believe I actually did it. I believed what I read online and acted out of hate. I know I can't take it back, but I wish I could. And I don't want anyone to be inspired by me and what I did.
Eventually, the judge reads her sentence.
The damage you have caused is too great, and the people you have hurt are too valuable to this community. You will never see the light of day as a free man ever again. It is the judgment of this court for your conviction under the first count of the indictment, a domestic act of terrorism motivated by hate in the first degree, an A1 felony, that you be sentenced to life imprisonment without parole.
Peyton was sentenced to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole. This is Dejan Brown. He is facing murder charges related to the death of his girlfriend, Nitisha Lattimore, and the death of her 3-year-old son, Nilo, in December 2020. Police said Nitisha was stabbed multiple times, and her remains were found in a body bag near the river. The child's body has not been found, but police believe Brown tossed the boy into the river. Dejan Brown was sitting in a courtroom in Ohio for a motion hearing when the grieving father attacked the man accused of killing his son and his son's mother. Nilo's father, Tonio Hughes, ran to the defense table where he began to punch Mr. Brown in the head. Mr. Hughes was later pinned to the ground by deputies.
Base, can we get back up in 560 now? Scott?
He tried to get back up again and attack Dejan, but authorities managed to get him out of the courtroom. If convicted, Dejan Brown could face the death penalty. As for the father, he was found in contempt of court and was sentenced to 7 days behind bars at the local Hamilton County Justice Center.
Each holiday, each moment, each season that goes by is very painful because, like I said, we miss our daughter, we miss our grandson. We feel empty without them.
This is Jason Howard. He's currently in a courthouse for being involved in a murder. But 5 months earlier, his ex-girlfriend and 3 children were found dead in their own home. Howard was the only person of interest, and during an interview, he claimed he was innocent.
I mean, I was a protector and a provider for my family, but I wasn't there to protect them and die with them. And I wish I was. I mean, to be honest with you, I'd rather be dead right now.
But remember, he is in court for a completely different murder. And the quadruple homicide of his ex-girlfriend and children is still unsolved. But the ex-girlfriend's family believes he is the one responsible for their deaths. The brother of the dead ex-girlfriend charges into the courtroom. The cousin of the victim now jumps in. The brother and cousin were both charged with assault. For Jason Howard, he is serving a 44-year-to-life sentence for the unrelated murder. He has not been charged for the killing of his ex-girlfriend and her children. Reportedly, no one has. To this day, it still remains unsolved. This is Tristan Laro. He pleaded guilty to shooting and killing his wife. At the sentencing, the brother of the murdered victim comes up to give a victim impact statement. The brother is making straight eye contact at the man that murdered his sister. The brother was quickly removed from the courtroom, and according to reports, he was also not charged. And for Tristan Laro, he was later sentenced to 15 years to life in prison. But this wouldn't be the last time a parent lunged at the perpetrator in court. Take, for example, the case of Larry Nasser. He is now an American convicted sex offender and former osteopathic physician. For 18 years, he was the team doctor of the United States Women's National Gymnastics team, giving him access to hundreds of girls and young women who he abused.
Get it? Why didn't she say something if she was feeling violated in any way, shape, and form? There was no communication.
Okay. Do you ever get aroused during these exams?
I shouldn't be getting during an exam.
Right. Well, the reason why I'm talking to you about this is because this young girl and her mother both observed this on more than one occasion during treatment.
If there was arousal, it's. I mean, like it would be because of whatever. I don't know, but I'm not trying to. You know,
whatever. I don't know.
Well,
I don't know.
When you're a guy, sometimes you get.
I really feel that my entire family has gone through hell and back these last few months because of what Larry Nasser did to both my sisters and I years ago. I have known Larry Nasser for most of my life. He once was someone I had always trusted.
I would ask you to, as part of this sentencing, to grant me 5 minutes in a locked room with this demon. Would you do that? Yes or no? Would you give me 1 minute?
You know that I can't do that. That's not how it is.
Well, I'm going to have to get something on.
Stay down. Stay down. I understand.
Let me have that son of a bitch.
I understand, but stay down.
I want that.
Stop fighting. Behind your back. Put your hands behind your back.
I want that son of a bitch.
Put your hands behind your back.
I don't. Give me 1 minute with that pastor.
Go ahead. You're good. You're good.
So professional. It's fun.
1 minute.
Relax, sir.
Relax.
Take it easy, buddy.
Just relax. Okay, now we're gonna kind of let up, okay? You have to let up too, okay? All right, sit up, get on your side.
Take it easy.
Sit up.
Where is he? 1, 2, 3, up. What if this happened to you guys?
Not behave like that. No one can behave like this. I want to make sure it's crystal clear. I'm sure Judge Craig.
You haven't lived through it, lady.
You cannot behave like this.
Nasser was sentenced to 40 to 175 years in prison for various charges, to be served after a separate 60-year sentence. That means he'll serve at least 100 years in prison, effectively a life sentence. And for the father, he won't face any criminal charges.
I came here in support of my daughters. I knew they were going to read a statement. I didn't know what all was in it. They would not let me see it ahead of time. I've dealt with my daughters as of late very delicately. I'm realizing they may never trust a man again. Then I got to hear that, and I look over here, and Larry Nasser's shaking his head no, like it didn't happen. Who would put themselves through this? It didn't happen. I lost control. I apologize 100 times.